Do you wanna mess with some balls? Today I'm trying to figure out how's good the fireball with its portion of AoE damage, and it feels really smooth. The two things I would like to be better are the first one is speed, a slightly more movement speed, or maybe some kind of using movement skills would be a great upgrade for this build. The second thing is the survivability. Though the build is really capable with all casual things, probably I would like to have some more defenses, or maybe some more effective HP for more tough battles, but on casual mapping it feels really smooth and great. I don't think that it would be good for bossing, and as you can see, we are sustaining righteous fire with our Tainted pact, while we are leeching fire damage, and we are leeching fire damage with our Darani's less and large cluster notable passive. The build itself is really like a concept, and I think if we make some improvements with it, it would be a banger. Though I figured out that Fireball isn't scaling with the returning projectiles as the wiki says, because only one returning projectile hits the enemy, so it effectively doubles our damage. And as you see, the single target is not that good here. Yeah. So maybe it's because of our survivability, and if we could tank these slams, the damage would stack, and etc. Here I'm trying to figure out how good would it be without the Nimis ring, without the returning projectiles, and the damage is still the same, but the clearing seems even worse. The chaining projectiles from Deadeye still help, but with Nimis it feels much smoother. Maybe we can just run here till the boss and see what the bossing would be without the Nimis, but I don't think something would really change here. So we are Deadeye, utilizing some projectiles and chains, also effective our marks and gathering winds for some cast speed. We use the circle for mark effectiveness and frenzy charge gaining, and we are going through the witch and hierophant, taking on our way some defensive nodes, the pain atonement for boost our spell damage, as we are always on low life, and taking the 55% threshold from the life circles. We use Thread of Hope for some nodes for penetration, and this node is not viable here. The actual anointment would be on the passive skill tree from POB, and the better way would be to take or maybe additional curse if you don't have this on your amulet corruption, or maybe taking some resurrection efficiency. Here is our cluster jewel with Doriani's lesson for some leech. The other nodes are any you can get, and we also use pure might for some resurrection efficiency of our purity of fire. We also take elemental overload as we hit many times, and we have the chance to proc it, and some resurrection efficiency and life nodes at the end of the tree, and till level 100 we would take that elemental circle and this circle with some curse effectiveness, as we utilize two curses. Also we use divine flesh to transform some portion of our elemental damage to be taken as chaos, and with the help of our flasks we have the capped resistances. We use Topaz Flask for additional elemental resistances and lightning resistance, and we use on our Forbidden Flesh and Forbidden Flame the Nature's Adrenaline to gain charges on single target boss fights. But while mapping, we would get those charges from killing monsters to have all the flasks uptime. We also use Watcher's Eye for damage taken as fire, physical as fire, while affected by Purity of Elements and Purity of Fire. And for the aura setup, we have Anger, Petrified Blood, Purity of Fire, Purity of Elements in our Devouring Diadem for some resurrection efficiency and to sustain our mana through using it with our energy shield. Yeah, we gain additional flask charges from our belt, and we sustain our energy shield with the venomous spinnerets with gaining energy shield while affected by the aspect of the spider, and the aspect of the spider is crafted on our belt, so we sustain our energy shield while casting skills. We use Vixen's entrapment with elemental weakness and flammability to cast these two curses when we self-cast our Sniper's Mark, as we don't need to cast it on while mapping because the damage is enough, and on single target we self-cast our Sniper's Mark, or as we are Deadeye we can also cast it once and then it will be transferring from killed monsters to the monsters that are alive, and it will be still good. And what's for the gear? As I've said, the Devouring Diadem with Anger or Purity of Elements, mana reservation for reserving many our auras. We use Darius' Courage Shield for max block as we are on low life, and once we block attack and spell damage we are block kept. Lightning Coil for some physical taken as lightning with the corruption for some damage with +2. We also use Circle of Anguish for some damage and Herald of Ash effect, and the Nimis is just the unique we are building around. Tainted Pact with the additional curse. If you don't have this, just anoint Whispers of Doom, and that's the way we can sustain our Righteous Fire for more spell damage. And here, while we're not leeching, Righteous Fire spends our life, but when we are leeching it even heals us because we have our fire resistance higher than our chaos resistance. So Topaz Flask with Dying Sun, Taste of Hate for phys taken as cold, some movement speed and chaos resistance, and Onslaught with cast speed for damage, and used all flask when charges reach full enchantment. Pretty straightforward wand with +1 to all fire and +1 to all spell, and other modifiers are the best you can get with spell damage, cast speed, but this one is just trash. For the links we have Fireball level 21 for some damage and energy leech support to sustain even better our mana and to make more damage. Spell Echo, Awakened Early Focus, Awaken Control Destruction, and the Empower. Or you can swap some of these gems for Awakened Fire Penetration. This here in my setup I don't have enough mana reservation efficiency to insert Vitality, but with the Herald of Ash in our boots with Arrogance I would also insert the Vitality of the level that our reservation efficiency can help us. Anyway, it's just the concept. Take care not to invest that much in this build. I'm trying to mess around to find out what's may be improved, and enjoy the build. Like, subscribe, leave your comments in the commentary section, and see you next time. Goodbye.